Bam. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 133 of Peace Talk. I saw the 33. I was like, oh, this is going to be good. Just felt good seeing that. And yeah, this is the interview podcast where we summon up some amazing individuals and, we get to talking and seeing what's up. And today we got a really, really, really awesome special guest. How you doing, Elle? Thank you for joining
I'm
us.
good. Thanks for having me. I'm doing good.
Where are you based at?
I'm on Vancouver Island in Canada.
Uh-huh.
I just actually moved back here last July, so it's good to be home.
That must be it. People from Canada just have a different vibe. It's just like that must have been what I felt when you came in. I was just like, huh, nice. Well, that plus, just the peace emanating from you, which is awesome. So how long have you been in Canada?
Um, how long have I been in Canada? I lived in Japan for like 7 years. I did that when I was 20, but I've been in Canada all 43 years besides that.
Wow, okay. That's awesome. Japan. So how was Japan in the 20s then versus now? What would you feel about that?
To go back now?
Or like what do you feel, how do you feel it was then versus the way it might be now?
I still have a girlfriend over there. I think when I was over there for 7 years, it was amazing how much the culture just changed in that 7 years already, just the younger generations. So yeah, the culture is still dwindling out, I feel, but there's still a lot of people that are into the temples, the shrines, and the deep serenity of that country. It's such a beautiful place to live, such beautiful people.
To live too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Word. It's I'm thinking now, yeah, it'd probably be a different vibe from China too, even though they're not too far away.
Yeah, I was actually expecting that when I got there. I was like, oh, it's going to be dirty and overcrowded, kind of like the image that I had of China. And I got there, it was very clean. And it's such a small island, but there's like so many millions, like 124 million, I think, on this little island when I was there. And it was so clean and everybody was so nice and civilized. And
Wow,
yeah, it was different than I imagined for sure.
that's amazing. That's really amazing. I definitely, that's definitely a language I want to learn. Certain words just roll off the tongue. I just like the culture, and or at least just it's definitely grown on me. So I thank you. That's inspired me to go visit out there and check that out and see how it's how different it may be now. But yeah, so thank you once again for reaching out, and also, I, you piqued my interest when you mentioned that you came onto this path from an angel.
Yeah,
And
I got awakened.
right. And had it been like when I first started walking this path, I would have been very skeptical of that. I would have been like, oh yeah, like angels aren't even really like that. Like I don't really believe that. But my path kind of in a sense got kicked off by an angel. So it's like seeing you say that now really hit deep. Like, okay, like I'm very interested in, how that might happen for you. But for those who are watching and interested, what is your sun, moon, and rising sign?
Oh, okay. So Taurus is my sun, Sagittarius is my moon, and Virgo is my ascending.
Oh, perfect. Right, master. Okay. How do you are you like early in Taurus or later in Taurus?
Um, like the day of the month.
Yeah, my bad. Are you? Yeah.
Okay, so 5577 is my birthday.
5577. Oh, word. Okay. So that seems to be like in the middle of Taurus. 14 degrees. Oh, nice. That's lit. I see you have Neptune on your moon, which is super psychic.
Oh, cool.
Um, yeah, that's lit. So, oops. Well, let me stop sharing.
It looks like a
Yeah,
spider.
right. Yeah. And you got Mars and Venus and Aries. That's dope. I got Mars and Aries too. It's
That's where
definitely
it's meant to be, right?
yeah, and it's dignity. I think it's a very fun placement. I wanted to know if it was I wanted to know where your sun was because I wanted to ask how you're feeling the Uranus transit that's coming through there. What's that like for you?
How would I be experiencing that, for example?
It's supposed to be total revolution, and shout out to the Aries because the Aries went through that like the last decade, but it's supposed to be like total innovation, like electricity. Your inner genius completely manifests, and you're like the source of genius for the rest of us, for everybody, and yourself.
Yeah, definitely my gifts are getting stronger. And my clairsentience has been like really triggery um and my dreams. Does that affect your dreams?
It can, however, seeing that your moon is on Neptune, which is like super magical and super psychic, I would think that the Neptune square in Pisces to your moon is also like having you dream like I can't even put into words, but like yeah. And I guess Uranus will probably make it more lucid and realer for you, which is really awesome to like.
Yeah, I had you in my dreams twice, 2 nights ago and then last night too. I don't remember 2 nights ago, but what did I write? I wrote Phoenix Rising Peace Dealer. And there was, yeah, but I don't remember what I saw. I have my book beside my bed. I just jolted. But then this morning I had all these like light greens and light blues with you. And there was like a cosmos sky with like a sun on the horizon that was all like northern light green and white coming up. And then there was also like a chia pet, but it didn't look like a chia pet, but it was like one of those fast growing plants, but it looked like chia, but it was to show that something was supposed to be growing quicker, but you were pushing it down. Something was, I think this is the Phoenix rising energy too. Like you've been not,
Suppressing it.
yeah, like not allowing your to kind of come out. And then there was also a water bug with you. And the middle of the water bug was this beautiful electric blue. And it was showing how quick you were on water. It was almost like Jesus walks on water. And then I also saw what was that other thing? Oh, and I saw a four. It looked more like this, like
Mm.
that, like, and then I wrote four question mark, but I don't know. There's a lot coming up for you, I feel.
I'm honestly amazed at how like ridiculously spot on that is because the one thing I've felt the most anxious right now is stepping in, letting that Phoenix energy come through. But I'm like figuring out the best way, or I'm in the process of like releasing all my mental blocks and these seals that have suppressed it. So thank you so much for saying that, especially because your energy is in my 12th house of dreams, your sun and your Venus and Mars. So I thought that was you helped me gain greater understanding as to how that works too and why that works too. That's wow.
Well,
I'm
at the end of our talk, I want to bring light codes in for you if you want them, because I've been having them come through for you.
yes. Thank you. My inner child is super giddy right now. And I'm so glad you said light codes. Shout out to Quantum Cassie and all of you who like bring out that consciousness of light codes and light language. for the longest time, I've been skeptical of that. Like I didn't really know how to even understand it. And I think the whole, just like you said, how like I'm pushing it down. I think I like to overcomplicate things. So like the whole notion of just receiving light codes, I felt was just so easy, and speaking light language, or it's not that it's easy, I just felt it was like too convenient, and I really never knew how to understand it until now, where I can accept that this is real, and it's amazing once again to see y'all put this consciousness out here. So um for someone like me who has heard of light codes but really doesn't know exactly what it is, like how would you explain that?
Well, it's interesting because people do, they think like if they get light codes that it's kind of like a cop out, or it's going to gentle the process of the ascension, but it's actually the opposite in a lot of ways. It does bring things up to the surface. So they're healing codes, but how do we heal, right? We bring shit up. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's not so much a band-aid of, oh, I'm just going to make you feel better for a bit. It's actually like, here's some stuff that you're going to purge right now, and good riddance. And yeah, so it sounds, it is a beautiful expression of light. A lot of people, they'll bring through their soul song, so it will just feel beautiful when you listen to it. The key codes that I bring through, they're like coding for DNA and consciousness to awaken stuff within you that you need to process at this time, things that are holding you back from moving forward. And that's what I like to bring through.
Wow. That, and now that makes sense with the Uranus in Taurus right now, because you help break down very practically a realistic way of seeing something that's very quantum, which is so awesome. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I would definitely love to receive those light codes. And yeah, I guess what my next question is, could you elaborate more on, how you were guided to walk this path and share your gifts with us?
And so I had a tower moment, and then I forgave someone, finally forgave them. And then within a week, or actually, do you know the sacred secretion?
That the
It,
Christos activation?
yeah, so you have like the pineal gland, it secretes serotonin, and the pituitary melatonin, and then it goes down your spine when the moon goes into your sun sign.
Right.
Santos Bonassini, I think. He's got a lot of information on it.
You're supposed to like fast during then, and like you're not supposed to like ejaculate or let go of your seed or
Right. No, no sex. You have to be like a monk. You have to be super peaceful and happy. Don't get angered. You can't have or you can't have acid in your body at all. So if
right.
you get triggered, you get that acid. And so I was really practicing to do that. And yeah, so I did that on the 7th of July. I didn't know it was a portal. And that was the first spirit that came into contact with me, and he had just actually passed over 3 weeks before. And then 1 week later, I was sitting on the couch watching The Bachelor in Paradise, and then this image just kept of my tarot cards, and my pendulum just kept going in front of my face. And I was just like, no, I don't know where they are. We had visitors, and I had kind of hidden them from the visitors. And so I was like, no, I look there, and I would see this black bag. And I was like, no, I look there. And I'd go to my room, I'd look there. Nope, it's not there. Go back to the couch. And just continuously, annoyingly, that I was like talking outside or out loud, like, no, I've looked there. Who is this? What's going on here? And I went back, and sure enough, it was at the bottom of my bag, in a black little bag. I had put it in a black bag at the bottom of my black bag. And yeah, so then I started slowly slowly but surely, I started seeing him, and he taught me telepathy. He also taught me this field. He said he was taking me to a field, and I was gonna do my healing there. And so 2018, it was a lot to do with the earth and stuff in this field. And
Wow.
yeah, and then yeah, I didn't start doing the quantum healing sessions till 2019 on people because it was just on the earth for a while.
Right. And that's very profound. I mean, even the process of like seeing this being, was it more when you're seeing the likeness of it, is it like like a presence or more like a spiritual light?
So he looked like a person, but he was not in my 3D reality. He was like in my clairvoyance.
Oh,
And
your mind's eye.
yeah, and he stayed for like 6 weeks, 24/7. Even though the guy that I was with at the time, like he would walk into the living room and I would be talking out loud to myself. And then he'd be like, "What are you doing?" I'd be like, "Leave me alone." So but it was just kind of like an awkward 6 weeks, but an awesome 6 weeks. But I'm stubborn, right? I'm a Taurus. So yeah, to awaken me, I definitely needed something like that that was inconceivable and without a shadow of a doubt, nobody could deter me from my path, right?
Absolutely. And you know, the how was I going to say what was I going to say? The, First of all, there's the controversial element of like um dealing with certain energies like that, which I want to touch on. But yeah, um, wait, it just slipped my mind again. Oh, there we go. Everything you just described, I feel now it's something that I and many others have been going through, not knowing that that's what we are doing. Because sometimes it's like you can have these interpersonal dialogues or monologues, and it doesn't feel like it's like in mentally you're saying it, but emotionally it's like you're connecting with something else, or you know, it could just be an unconscious dialogue. But now I'm starting to believe that, you know, maybe unconsciously many people have these conversations and don't even realize that they're, you know, dialoguing with a spirit guide or an angel. So I really do appreciate how you broke down that experience, because you can share that and someone can kind of like, especially with the Uranian energy, it's trans-Saturnian, so it can cause people to feel like you're crazy or look like you're crazy, when that's actually an experience that I would say many people have had if they're going to be honest with themselves, or whether they knew it or not, which is just very profound.
Oh yeah, I think there's so many schizophrenic people that are on medication right now that are not schizophrenic at all. You know, they are psychic.
They're psychic, yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure.
very psychic, yeah. And that's not to say that there aren't people with mental imbalances either. But I mean, I feel usually those imbalances are offset by not being aware of their psychic ability and how that, you know, comes in. So
Well,
I
no
oh,
one wants to be crazy, right? So if they say, "Hey,
exactly.
you're crazy, you're going to go in the hospital," it's like, "No, give me medicine. I don't want to be crazy."
Right. And
Yeah.
I love what you said, because the success that I've gotten doing what I do, and I'm sure you as well, is because we decided, you know, that we don't care if people think we're crazy, which is just so, you know, or we decided not to be afraid to be called crazy, which there's no other way I know I would even be here if I was, or if I did. So once again, that's just such a Uranian theme. It's a very Neptunian theme. And yeah, people with moon on Neptune, it's a Neptunian vessel alien construct that lets you read auras and souls and assist the dying and crossing over. And everyone, everyone who I've met, uh, Savon Champel, I think, is someone else who I've interviewed here who is also a Taurus with this aspect. And like the reading is y'all are just anointed with this Christ conscious, like ascended energy. It's just very peaceful. And like the readings y'all give are just so divine, in the sense where it's like there's no way you could have known it, but you picked it up like your dream. Like that was so beautiful. It was so amazing. It really summed up a lot of everything I've been wanting to understand. So I'm very grateful once again. But yeah, just it's really awesome. And my next question for you is, in my journey on this path, I it's so easy to find people who raise, objections, or can be very superstitious and skeptical about, discerning what's an angel and what's not. Like they're Christian perspectives who would say that you're not talking to an angel, you're talking to a demon, and which is very disrespectful to assert, right? But like, and then other people who also say like, oh, you're just supposed to talk directly with God. You don't need to talk with angels and whatnot. And what do you say? It's not like you have to prove anything, but like, how do you help people navigate through, frustration or dealing with that type of consciousness?
Yeah, so I know a few people that do quantum healing as well, and some of them they literally battle demons in their quantum sessions. And I've seen cords attached to people in my quantum sessions where they're like they're being almost controlled by something, some form or entity. But I never see demons. I think I'm pretty comfortable with my shadow, or I have a lot of acceptance for we all sin differently, but we all sin, and we're all a part of this big problem that's on our earth right now. Like we've all dabbled in everything that's going on right now. So when I'm in a quantum session, I don't ever see a demon. But it doesn't mean that I don't think it's pretty kick-ass that people are battling these demons while they're removing these energies from these people that are healing and releasing these demons. The thing is, when you're seeing frequencies and where they are in the universe, if we take the 12 dimensions, let's say, and we put them like a ruler. So you have the first dimension, which is very, very dark. Second dimension, hellish. And then third dimension, very dark on here. But we start to get higher and lighter in essence. So when you can see those interlocking or interlacing almost, right? You don't see the darkness as demons. So with Christianity,
Oh, right.
right, you just see it for what it is. It's
Right.
energy and matter, right? So but with Christianity, when you've manipulated people to believe 100% that Bible is truth,
Mm-hmm.
then and Christians are awakening right now too. They're looking for a different answer, and we have to be there to help them, right?
Yeah.
To yeah, like to come to a better conclusion. So it's not so much as to prove the Bible is wrong, as much as to remove the fear from it. And if we can remove the fear from it, then we don't fear Lucifer or the devil or the fallen angel, because it's all aspects of being misunderstood, in my opinion. Um, so I don't know. I think with Christianity or any religion, it's just taking the fear elements out of it, because once we face our fear, the truth will set you free, right? So once
True
you
that.
face that fear, you will feel it. I don't know. Do you deal with a lot of Christians and religious people knocking astrology?
I mean, I've always my whole life. I have Bible study every week with my mom and my sisters. One of my other sisters is more liberal in the sense where she doesn't really embrace the faith. My other sister and my mother do, and I kind of see it more now in a astrotheologic way. So I don't really deal with any direct attacks, but the consciousness is still out there. Like there's so many people who um, are so attached to the Bible being the word of God and Jesus in the Bible instead of just seeing it as an allegorical account of the universe. Because the message of Christ is in the Bible, but you nailed it perfectly. You know, it the way it's just being used to brainwash people with half truths really just distorts the message. But other than that, you know, and just like Master Nuna said, Jesus wasn't Christian, right? A Christian is supposed to be like Christ. Um, but it really says a lot that Jesus wasn't a Christian in the Bible. Jesus wasn't going to church. Jesus never set up one church while he was there. But you know, he did congregate with people, right, at a soul level. But yeah, like I personally, I personally feel like one huge block is the fear. There's just such fear that's put out when it comes to the spiritual perception of how to connect with spirit versus the liturgical and the orthodox rules of you know, where so you're supposed to do this, that, and it kind of kills the life from it, you know, when you're telling someone you're supposed to pray this way, you know. So it's kind of hard. The way I'm trying to frame this question is, you know, and it's a bit misleading because it's not meant to argue with someone of this faith, but um really just wanted to go into how to deal with people who try and twist what you're doing to be demonic.
Uh,
And
I
like if
usually
someone was to say
that.
that, you know what I mean? But you broke it down perfectly because you're speaking of the frequencies and vibrations.
Well, it's kind of like singing though too, right? Or if
Right.
you're like musically inclined with instruments, that's light language. In my opinion, that is light language. You're a good dancer, light language. Anything that you are doing soul expression through your hands, mouth, anything of your sensories, that's light language. You're tapped into your higher self. You're creating, co-creation, right?
Right. Which once again is amazing because to see it coming around once again with this Uranus and Neptune cycle, it's like it's coming around in a way that's going to stick. And like, you know, it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the collective embraces or adopts it. And it's awesome to see how now it's more in an individual way where we have to make it into our own thing and something we can do with. So that's awesome. And outside of that now, you already answered this question, but what is light language? And like how what do you feel is the benefits of or um speaking love language? I mean light language, which I guess is
Oh,
love language.
yeah, I don't know if you would have. The first light language I saw was April before July. I woke up and it was crazy. And I was like, what is this girl doing? This is insane. And I thought it was kind of like a Saturday Night Live skit. You know what I mean? Like, I was
Of
literally
speaking
like,
in tongues.
yeah, well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
she was all like, oh, and her eyes were going up in her head. And I was just like, this is crazy, right? So I would
Right.
have never been like, hey, can I speak light language? Bring it on. Come on. I want to go on YouTube and speak light language. Like it was just kind of nuts to me. But yeah, it started with vibrations on my lips and toning. I kept hearing the tones, and I know a lot of your viewers are going to be hearing those tones too, right? And the all those things in the ears, that's your clairaudience coming on, right? And this the light language is often the clairaudience, and you can have it with clairvisual too. But for me, I see the sensory clairsentience and that audience toning. That's the clair or the light language coming in. And yeah, so I can't even remember what your question was right there.
No, it's cool, cool. So it's not even something that you just speak. Like it's something that's activated with the energy. And okay, that makes a lot more sense because, yeah, like that's been a huge block for my language journey. It's like I just don't really. I have to believe off faith. You know what I mean? And it's like it's not something that is supposed. I don't think it's supposed to make mental sense because it's a more frequency, you know, based language, but
Do you
just
know what
something.
it helps me with though? It helps me shut off my thoughts and do
Right,
telepathy with spirit.
right.
It's exactly what it does. It distracts me from overthinking things.
And then it's like you're talking more with your heart and your energy instead of like, which is
Yeah.
awesome. some people just be overdoing it, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like it's hard to think. It's fun, especially when they make it fun. Let me not say they're overdoing it, but I remember me and my friend, like we got invited to go to this Bible study, and like at the it wasn't really a Bible study, it was like inner church, and it was like a youth congregation, and there was this point where they brought us up so that they can pray, and everyone was speaking in tongues, and like we just looked at each other like, nah, like this ain't it, because we just, I don't know, it just didn't feel authentic. But I I don't think I'm even in the place to judge whether it's authentic, because they really were doing it with their hearts, like they were believing what they're doing, and it's just so very such a fascinating concept. I can see how I block the experience by overthinking it. But what's some advice to help people get out their own way when it comes to doing this?
Yeah, it's definitely a vulnerability thing, and vulnerability makes you level up on so many of your gifts, right? Like, have you done sessions with people? Like, I do sessions, and sometimes I just start crying because I'll get like compassion codes coming in. Compassion codes get me every time. It just feels amazing. So, and
Wow.
it's just, yeah. So, but if you do that healing with someone, because I don't like crying generally at all. So when you do it with someone and then they're crying too, you feel amazing after. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's healing for both of you in a lot of ways. I think light language is healing in a lot of ways. Just allowing yourself to be childlike again, because that's what
Right.
it is. It's like a goo goo gaga, dee 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 dee, you know?
And so you don't really say any specific words, right? You just speak with your spirit.
Yeah, so I channel a lot of different elementals, which are really funny, high pitch uh, toning, and they sound hilarious to me, but they feel amazing. So I invite them in all the time. Dragon energy, I channel, which is very low. It's almost like a om. Also, the tree man or the green man.
Right.
He's also an om type of energy. Pleiadians I've had, Octurians, Lyrans, and the newest one have been Blue Avian, and they've been connecting people to the telepathy and the SoulStar chakra. And that's what happened to me in 2018 is they connected me to my SoulStar. That's why my name's SoulStar. And so they just came in, and the connection with them, like the clairvoyancy also, that I can work with them with a client. They literally showed me like a skeleton and a jaw bone of the client, and they're like, "That's amazing!" Like they had removed their jaw. Like, how would I get that information from a light being? You know, it's just so random stuff. But
Wow.
they're the newest one, and I love them because they'll turn on these cerebrals and your telepathy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which once again, like I just kind of want to bring back the whole theme of embracing your spirit team, because um it's one thing that the dark forces make sure is demonized, obviously, if you cut off support, right? So it's really cool to see how you have that trust in what you're shown or in what you experience, with these essences and energies, which once again, super awesome. um Once again, you also said, and shout out to Kellyanne, who said, I'm struggling as a former Christian on how to identify God. It is very difficult, you know. Um, Shout out to Gemini Brown, who said, searching for the Messiah, but don't know it's you. Thoughts become things. It's way bigger than that. Duality and all, the preacher won't tell you that. But it's like, what really helped me embrace the concept of God, ironically, was having to go in and understand who I was, understand my soul, and understanding that God is like the force, and the soul force um, now hits home when you remember there's the soul body spirit connection. And you said something that was so key, and really lit my soul up was when you said you were connected to your soul star. Could you explain what the higher chakras are and the soul
The,
star?
the soul star is about 6 inches to a foot above your head. It's different for everyone, but it's about that difference from the top of your head. And that connects you to using your telepathy. So once you're connected, you have to, just like anything, you have to practice it. You have to, because in the beginning, we're so wired to think that we have to say, I want to go to the store, when really that language is just holding us back. It's literally just a thought of what you're doing, like from here to A to B, going to the store. In that time period, you've already received your answer from your guides. It's that quick. So a lot, and then with the insight too, if you don't catch it fast enough, you forget it like a dream. So that's what I mean by language kind of holding you back. So if you start just having an intention of what you're wanting to know, listen right away. It's kind of like stopping to speak in general, because all you're doing is sending a signal as to, oh, what do I need at the store? And it's already coming in. So shut up. Right. And that's really what telepathy is. And that's when you get connected to your soul star, is just really shutting up and just receiving what it is you want to know.
Imagine telling the Gemini to shut up. That's actually been the biggest challenge I've had because I actively shut out the telepathy by just shrouding my life force with my own crazy thoughts, literally. And one thing to illustrate what you said that took me forever to understand is that, and you saying it just helped me understand it fully. Recently, more as of late, like I'll be thinking things, but before I can finish my thought, it feels like I got it out already. And it's starting to feel redundant. And it's a weird feeling for me because I'm like so used to having to think it, but it's like there's an energy in the thought, and I'm learning to think of like that now. It's just like, wow.
That's awesome. I notice with my videos too, like if I'm explaining something, it will come out redundant, but then I have to remember that I'm talking to many different people, right? So it has to come out in different ways for different people to understand. But I get that too. I'm like, oh, am I being redundant, or
Right.
did I word it different? I'm not sure. Yeah.
And that's what it feels like too, redundant. Like by the time you say it, it's like we heard it already. And it's like, what? But you said something else that was very, thank you, Green Gotti. You said something else that was very interesting as far as like maintaining connection to that star and that activating the telepathy, which makes a lot of sense. And even more so how you have to maintain it and like build that connection. So does that also apply to like enhanced states of consciousness? Do you just have to like tap into a source or connect to a source or an energy?
Yeah, it's kind of like even meditating in the beginning, it's that basic shutting down your mind so that you just stay in a place of quiet, which is so difficult for so many of us, right? Like just to stay even, yeah, 1 minute, right? It's like, am I doing it? Did I do it? You know, like you still got those little thoughts of, oh, I'm looking at a candle, the flame is burning. Like you still have those thoughts and you're just like, no, shut up, just watch the flame, just watch it. Don't look at the color. So that is just trying to teach yourself how to quiet your brain. And then through meditation, you start using your imagination, which we were taught that if you use your imagination, that's not true. You've just got a wild way of thinking or a
Right.
wild imagination, right? But your imagination is what takes you into the spirit world. And you will know when you start seeing something so inconceivable as if you wouldn't imagine it, that is your message from spirit that they're trying to give to you at that time. And we always push it away as if we have a, oh, and that's why pot is so good for people when they're starting off with meditation and stuff,
Yeah.
because they have an
Oh.
excuse, right? They're like, oh, I can blame it on the pot. I was so high last night, so I saw this blue purple dinosaur, and I guess that would be Barney, but whatever. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, and then then you find out you don't even need these things to tap in. You just have to breathe.
So I have chills because that's really another thing that, and it's always back to the basics, but that's something that really, was so hard for me to accept. Because I always wanted to believe that imagination isn't always conclusive enough um, to really count as anything, when it's really just like you said, it's literally, the doorway into the spirit realm. It's representative of Pisces, right? But like, I didn't realize how it's actually imagination and thought, how we do magic or experience magic. And it also helped me have a newfound respect for people with Neptune and Sagittarius and Pisces energy, because I noticed that for y'all, you can close your eyes and you see movie screens and your imagination is really vivid, and you can lucid dream. Um, it's pitch black for me. Like I didn't, it's a, right. Like I didn't realize it's a skill I'd have to develop, but it's easy for me to think. It's just always been hard for me to like, or challenging to really sit. And then again, I don't always meditate like I should, but to just really imagine and to sit. Yeah.
So can you imagine things like if I say see a girl in a red jacket, can you see her eyes open or closed?
Yeah.
Okay, see, I visual like my clairvoyance is usually with my eyes open. Only if I try and
Oh.
zero in on something do I need to close my eyes. But usually it's in like this peripheral, and it's not like I see you. It's not like a lucid dream either, but it's almost like visions around or thoughts with pictures.
So it's as simple as that then, just like visualizing and right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And it's just such a but fascinating principle, like just kind of letting your mind go and surrendering to it and letting, because I can already feel the part of me wanting to control, like, well, I want this to happen, I want that to happen. But it's like every single time I've either been forced to let go or reluctantly let go, as soon as I let go, answer comes, which is just the having to go against my own nature just to suppress, or I mean to release. So thank you once again for telling me that dream, because that is so revealing. It's so important too. Um, wow. And yeah, we know that you got your soul star connected and you connect with angels. It's kind of interesting because 8 years ago, when I was connecting with the angel reader who I was trading with, who, would tell me the archangel or the angel who worked with me personally, um, in retrospect, it's not like they're still not around, but I'm still kind of struggling with making their presence real, which is even crazier because their presence has been realer more than ever. But I just feel like I'm so oblivious to it all. Like, where do I even start? So, yeah, it's just really humbled me with once again going back to the basics and exploring. And I really do appreciate you bringing that once again to this chat and to everyone out here. So let's play the three questions game. We'll take turns asking each other three questions. That could be about anything. You can start first, and then I'll answer and ask you, and then we'll go 2 more rounds.
Okay, so I think it was last year you did, I can't remember if it was a full moon or a new moon ritual, but you were connecting. I think Mercury was in retrograde and you were connecting with the planets, and you were like, you can talk to any planet that you want to. I'm going to talk to Mercury. And you were talking to Mercury, and I want to know because to me that is the same thing that I do with guides or beings, like exactly. So I'm kind of a little confused that you're not understanding that, like, Mercury and the planets are your guides. Do you know
That's
what I mean?
true. That's
Yeah,
true.
like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
were so tapped in. So what
yeah.
was that?
No, you're right. And that's the thing. Like, I feel like I've just been thinking about it all wrong. And yeah, you're right. That is what that is. Like, um, and once again, like, it's only in retrospect now that I think about stuff that I've said or done, and I don't identify it as if I did it. Like, the concept of channeling is kind of, it's still grounding for me, but then to experience it, I don't always notice how much it just kind of comes through and may take me over. So, um, but yeah, you're right. No, I definitely do. I just definitely gonna work more than on, like, um really the behavior around it, and the craft and the lifestyle.
Yeah,
But
those planets are powerful.
yeah,
Yeah, and you're tapped into those. So I would embrace those more of your guides than anything right now. And even with that angel being with me for 6 weeks, then he left, right?
right.
But he's still in an aspect of myself, right? So he's my truth. So when I seek my truth, I bring in that energy, that frequency, as you would Mercury, right?
That's awesome. There we go. Yeah, that's super awesome. Wow. So this is really awesome. This is really awesome. Thank you. So, my question for you is, do you ever deal with feeling, do you ever deal with not being able to differentiate your feelings with other feelings, or having to feel others, and kind of like, yeah, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, so that happened a lot in 2018. My empath was getting really strong, and when I would go out and about, suddenly I'd come home and I'd have these problems with my partner, that at the end of the day I'd be like, I don't even have these partners with or problems with my partner, but I'd be like projecting a feeling that I was feeling onto him. And then I started recognizing that I was picking up energy. And so my guides at the time, I did like a really long meditation, and they just showed me just circulating almost like citrine, like this stuff. So if you are sensitive to energy, just get one of these. Like, you can get a raw form. I like raw form of citrine, and it brings out that negative energy out of your body. You don't have to put these in the moon or the sun or anything either to cleanse them, and they're just constantly grounding that energy. So I generally have one of these on me. I find obsidian has, I don't know, they said it's psychic protection. I just feel calm with it on. I don't know if it's actual psychic protection or what it is. So those things have helped me. And then if I feel, every time I go in the shower, sometimes I forget, but there's an intention that I just let that water cleanse my energy, cut the cords of other people. Also, this year I started noticing when I think of somebody else, I'm also attaching energy to them or draining from them. So I've just kind of been like asking for my energy to be returned from that I've been giving out, as well as to give back other people's energy through the water. Those have helped me.
Wow. And those are visualization techniques
Yeah, intentions, I guess, right?
and intentions. Okay, that's awesome. Um,
Yeah, like I don't go through that process of retrieving my energy and giving it back. I just let the water just, thank you, water. It's pretty much all I say. But
right.
yeah, I have that like intention. My turn?
Yep.
Okay, so tell me, what is your most joyful creativity aspect of you? What brings you the most joy of self-expression? Music, painting, driving, walking?
I realized that uh, as a Taurus rising, because Virgo is my fifth house, I I realized that I usually have fun working. And so I do love making music, and I do love making jokes and corny jokes and laughing at my jokes. But what I realized as of late is that I love talking to myself. And I realized that it's really just me channeling and talking to, I mean, I don't really ascribe it to like this being or that being, but it's like, I realize it's not really even talking to myself. It feels like I just really just like talking. There we go. I just really like expressing. And now I'm realizing I really have to channel this energy because I'm obsessed with like harnessing a more um I'm obsessed with harnessing like an enlightened state of consciousness. And I realized why that's so hard for me to do is because I talk so much and I just love talking. And I realize now this is what I express it through rapping, I express it through singing, I express it through, consultations, but I just love talk. Like I knew I liked talking in general, but I didn't realize like I'll literally the Capricorn moon will be like, dude, I need you to stop talking for like just 5 minutes. And I can't even do it's like I don't it's like a childish part of me that doesn't even want to do it for like 2 minutes. So I realized if I can find a way to harness that inside, then like I could probably kind of like you were saying too, now start to hear, you know, it's like I'm breaking through a new way to think about thinking and to think about how I harness that energy. And yeah, thank you for asking that. I don't want to really sound like a smartass, but I really realized like just channeling and just talking, so much downloads through me. It's something that I realized I've suppressed like a lot. But actually, I really do also like the artistic, element of crafting that together. And I really can't wait. Like a personal heart's dream is to now, manage different creatives, and we're in the studio putting in some really creative art pieces and sketches. And I really just can't wait to be doing that more full time. Like that's going to be so fun.
That's cool. So you etch and sketch kind of thing?
Yeah, like acting and also music
That's cool.
and filming and all that. Um, I I I feel like I'm at a place where I had to clear so much. It's not like I couldn't do it before, but now I'm at a place where that's literally all I can invest in doing. So I'm so ready. Like I'm excited and all that. It's awesome.
New chapter?
Pretty much. But it feels like one sense of me is dying, and another is being reborn, which now gives so much meaning to the phoenix energy that you're seeing,
Yeah, I
rise.
just thought of that.
Right. And
Yeah.
I'm just that's what I'm wanting to embrace more than anything. Um oh no. Wait a minute. How am I gonna ask this? Um wow, that just flipped out my mind again. I wanted to ask you something about perhaps an experience about either channeling or dealing with harnessing an aspect of ability. So I'm gonna think about what that was. But other than that, what do you what would you say has been so oh no, I'll ask hmm. Okay. Um, what's your what's your favorite part about reading tarot?
Oh, I have a lot of favorite. Okay,
I
so
wanted to ask what your favorite tarot card is, but like, I know as a tarot card reader, like, there's all sorts of experiences. Like, you talk about something and then you pull the card for it, or like it tells a spread. So, yeah.
um yeah, I think my favorite thing about tarot is just the confirmations of what you're feeling, sensing, seeing with while you're channeling, and then you can just kind of show it to the client or your subs, like it's just like, yes, that validation is right there and they get to see it too, like what you've been
I,
experiencing.
yeah. That's just always an amazing feeling every time. It's
They
awesome.
always deliver. They just always do.
And so, how do you feel like the tarot really is you, right? Like you're pulling it, right? So like how do you I've noticed more frequently like cuz I'll pull tarot cards sometimes like over and over, and I notice like in my mind there's what I want the card to pull, and then there's the actual story that's being told if I actually pay attention to what's being pulled. And it always fascinates me. It's like, no, this is what you think, but I'm trying to show you this. And it's just like, wow, it just changes the whole perception of how interact with it. It's very interesting. So yeah, I would say I like that too. That's very
Yeah, I do too.
always fun. And yeah, now we're on the last round of questions.
Um, okay, so astrology. What is your most profound aspect in your chart? What do you think is like pushing you forward the strongest?
It's interesting because, and that's what I appreciate about astrology, which is like any master craft or craft. It's like you can look at something that's in front of your face the whole time, and you see it over and over and over, and one day it just makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like with this Saturn return, it it helped me understand who I am and like my placements like never before. It helped me understand how like I was seeing it too individually, and like this is that versus seeing, this isn't just and to answer your question, my moon conjunct Saturn, which with this return really just revealed what it means and what it is.
Are you
And I
33?
I'm 30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is Saturn return 33 or 30?
29 and to 30, like 20.
Oh, I thought it was 33 for some reason.
Um, that's not really far from the truth because Vedically, you also the this return is going to be like a 7 year dasha, and like at the end of the Saturn at the other sign, you're going to be like 32, 33. So
Oh,
you're not wrong. It's actually like that's going to be like when it finishes, I'd say. But yeah, like I've I come to understand like that aspect in the chart. I first of all, for so long, I've seen it as like I embrace so much of the Gemini duality that I felt, okay, the Capricorn's my dark evil side. Like Saturn's the one that's limiting me, and it's the one that I have to be careful or it'll take me over. Like I took a very like dramatic like spin to it, and I've been identifying with Gemini so much in my thoughts that I realized, wait, my rising is Taurus, and my identity is directly connected to my moon because my Mercury is 29 Taurus on my AC, and it trines directly to the moon Saturn. And that made me realize that in such a different way. Because it's not just Saturn in Capricorn, it's Saturn in the ninth house in Capricorn. And the sub ruler of Mercury in Taurus is Saturn, and the sub ruler of Saturn in Cap is Mercury. And so that made me realize, wait, they're linked. So they're one. And it's almost as if I'm a literal incarnation of that Saturn energy made flesh. And it really, really coming into now, okay, Gemini isn't really what I am. It's a quality of spirit I have. I have this sense of my life force. And then that made me really interested about like people who have their sun on their rising, how you can probably identify with your sun versus others who identify with their moon. It blew my mind. So I would say my moon sign, like it really helped me understand. I used to think that I have my soul and I'm my spirit, and now I realize I am the soul and I have my spirit. I have my sun sign. So yeah, very,
That's
very
cool.
thank you.
Yeah, I like that.
And so I've just been working on, figuring out better how to embody that and awaken that. And that's another thing that really had me suppress that Phoenix fire and uh block the awakening because I was just thinking about it wrong. I felt like I keep on feeling like it's something I need to trigger instead of like a process. But and thank you, Nixa. Saturn is not Satan. It's a seat of solar tribunal, seat of justice. I totally agree. I've come not to really agree with those syncretized Saturn Satan counterparts. But yeah, I ironically ended up now seeing that Capricorn is far from the dark side of me. Capricorn is like, if anything, the Gemini can be a bit mischievous. Thankfully, like I get to experience the duality there, but the Saturn Capricorn is more the father to me. It's definitely been an unconscious guiding influence and force, and I'm coming to embody and become. So very, very, very excited and grateful for that. And yeah, my final question for you is how do you, okay, with especially with Uranus and Taurus, like this, you can say like it's manifesting your higher self. And how do you feel, how would you describe that process of becoming your higher self or manifesting that aspect
So, yeah, 2018, I was showing myself merging with my higher self. My higher self literally like merged inside of my body. And this year, I've been shown like becoming the higher self. So it's interesting that you said that because
wow.
we're all actually becoming our higher self now because we're meeting the higher self in the fifth dimension. Before it was coming down to greet us, and now we're rising up with it. So the process for me is more of a, it's almost like a coming to be party, like a bar mitzvah or whatever that would be. I'm not Jewish, but a coming of age is what it feels like because I don't know. I think a lot of star seeds, we've just suppressed all of that, esoteric knowledge that we've had or experiences that we have. And now it's finally like we're allowed to be crazy and goofy
Yeah.
and be ourselves again. So it's a good experience for me. It's bringing me back to childhood, I find, um, bringing me back to innocence and joy and simplicity, you know, because I had kids and I was getting consumed in fear because my psychic, I didn't know I was a psychic, but I could literally see things before they would happen. And I could see my kids like smashing their heads. It never happened though, but I would start putting them in a bubble, because I could see like 5 different ways of jumping on the bed that they could fall off there, hit their head, smash. And, it just consumed me with fear. So thankfully, when I awakened, shadow work just kind of got me out of fear. Did you experience shadow work?
I feel like I experience it every day. Um, it reflects very unconsciously because like I really receive a lot of telepathic projections that and I don't say this in a victim way, but like come off as psychic attack. And I think that's what also has me unconsciously like suppress the energy. So it's not like I'm getting bombarded by like negative vibes, but sometimes I do feel that clash. And I kind of feel like a part of me is unconsciously aware of it, but I'm working on being conscious of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's been very it's been very troubling and difficult. Not too troubling, more like a frustration, but yeah, also very revealing. But um yeah, and as far as like my personal shadow work too, um I think I think now in retrospect, seeing the aspect of my shadow that I used to think is bad versus now seeing it as like, not bad. I feel is also, and or not like not bad, but like not seeing it as some evil force. Because I just archetypalize the shadow as like, oh, the light is good and the dark is bad, and really overcoming that really helped me accept now the shadow parts of myself, and um dealing with the shame and guilt that now manifest in telepathic projections reflected in my own inner psyche, and being at peace with that, because once again I realized like I put all these mental blocks on myself, and a part of me likes that because I feel like it limits me, but now I'm ready to release all of it, and yeah, very very grateful. And once again, just to co-sign Nixa in the chat, Saturn is not evil. I know a lot of people want to fetishize Saturn as an evil force. Saturn is the force of integrity. If anything, it's goodness. Any distortion of planets is just because of any negative vibrations that express the even Mars. Mars is not a god of war. Mars only expresses itself as war because humanity hasn't reached a certain vibration of purity yet. And so we see, the base level distortions. And that's something I recently channeled too. The planets are like, you don't even talk about us the right way. Like, that's not even what we really are. And it's just been so profound, like this new world we're headed into. So so very grateful for you sharing everything you did with us. What constitutes what is for someone who doesn't know, what is a quantum healing session, and what would they get if they booked a session with
So quantum healing session. Uh, okay, so I do two different kinds of sessions. I do light language session where I channel your starseed origin or other entities or beings that want to communicate with you about specific things. And then I also have a live session that I can do that as well. The quantum sessions that I like to do are a 2-hour session where 1 hour you're laying down and I tap into your energy. I channel a lot. I analyze your chakras, your system, anything that's out of whack. Spirit will show me what I need to communicate with you. Light codes still come through, and I draw a lot, or I channel everything on paperwork, anything that comes through. And then I do, after the session, I do a voice recording. I go through all the paperwork, explaining what I saw, what I wrote, and then light codes that are significant to you come through. And then after that, I pull tarot on your body as well. And then I go through those cards. I take pictures and I send you those, and I do a voice recording with that as well. So those are all my skills jam packed into one session, and that's my baby. That's my creation.
you? Beautiful.
Yeah.
I got your website and YouTube in the description box below. Is there any other way people can reach you?
So yeah, YouTube's really my go-to. I do have a Facebook account. It's not really just about me. It's about anybody posting things about their gifts as well. And then my IG account is SoulStar Visions as well, but it's more of a personal. I post pictures of my family and just stuff like that. And yeah, so YouTube is probably the best place.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Do
And
you want to
and
experience light language, Michael?
yeah, yes.
Okay. Do you want me to bring some in?
Please. You
Okay.
do whatever you need and do what you want.
So with light language, if you're open to receiving, it's all of the higher 5D and above light beings. The codes are generally to bring in ease and settlement. I feel with you, Michael, there's a tolerance code already coming in, and it's nothing. It's nothing to think, what, I'm not tolerant. On the contrary, it's more because you have things that are coming up that are frustrating, because you can hear things that aren't spoken, and you can see things that haven't happened yet. So this tolerance code is for that, just to ease you there. Also, I'm being shown a shark around you, okay? And you're also being shown underwater, flipped upside down, meaning that you have a test that you're going through right now. And it's a test by spirit. So, but when you're upside down, it means that you haven't passed it yet. So, and with the shark circling around you, there's someone, I would say someone that you know that you've been putting a back burner to, and it keeps coming around like a little irritation, like I got to deal with that, but you don't want to deal with it. And this is coming up because this is what's holding back your phoenix from rising. This is the test of no more tolerance for individuals as much as yeah, because I'm even seeing a wolf with you. So the wolf,
What it feels like.
It's the wolf with you in reverse too. This is not about being part of the pact as much as being a lone wolf at this moment too. So you really have to show that leadership of coming forward. Boshira mokota shikota tokota shikapokota de shikota ha ha ha. Utakoto pa shikotokoto shaha tikoto nomo shaha wai to da shuda ha. Utaka tukuta shite katakoto shakati katakoto shikatakoto koto shikati so bata shikatokoto shaha. Oshana makoto shaha. Utaka tukuta tati dodo shapate katakoto shaha. So this is actually a mother from a life that you had on Earth. And she's quite strict. I would even say Peruvian in nature. Sorry. Bushikatokoto shamati tokoto tapatatokoto. Ush a uta kuta shikotokoto. She's actually scolding you in a way for bringing dirty feet in the house. I'm just going to explain what I see. Boshina kotokoto shapaki tokotomo shapakati koto uta poshata kopoto to shapaki tokoto shapakati tokoto shahati tokoto pototo shakati tokoto shapaki tokoto. Oh, she's showing you going on a quest, and you're barefoot. You're a little boy, and you're going on a quest. But where you were wanting to go, that path was closed. You waited too long. Boshinakato, and that's why she's scolding you for trying to go down the path of least the opposite of least resistance. So
of most resistance, of like the hardest path.
Because you originally thought that that was the way that you were meant to go. That's the way that you were shown to go. And now that path has closed because I think you took too long. So you're learning a lesson going in the opposite direction now, or in a different path. So she's literally showing me you going right and going, no, now you have to go left. You're veering left. Which is interesting. For me, the left side always is one of logic, and right. You seem to be removing logic, whereas this, you need to reinstate your logic as to how you're going about something that's resurfacing. It's this shark. There's something that's intrusive. It can be definitely close to you is what it feels like quite close.
Definitely energetically, because when you say that, I hear stuff that By the way, this is very on point in a way that's not like that. It's engaging parts of me that I'm not used to stirring up. But like, yeah, energetically, I feel that I feel like there's a presence around me, but I don't know how to make sense of it because I'm not used to these senses like that. Or maybe I am, and it's just I don't know.
It looks like it's a reoccurring issue that you don't think is a problem.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
I'm
so
definitely playing down a lot of stuff that, yeah,
and you're needing to be like, for example, if someone oversteps with you and you get that feeling in your belly, that's your signature that somebody stepped over a boundary with you. Right away, as soon as you feel that, it's like calling a narcissist out. Therefore they don't deal with you anymore because they know who you are and they're like, oh shit, he's not going to play my games. Do you know what this is? That energy. It's you're not acknowledging something. As soon as you acknowledge it, it goes away. But because you don't see it as a problem, it
Mhm.
could be many people around you, for
It's many energies and it's many people. And even today, I literally was saying today, like, I'm not gonna let it get to me because it's not even that big a deal. Like, I'm not even gonna acknowledge it. But it's looking like I have to acknowledge because it feels like a violation of my sacred space and like just this energy that wants my attention and I don't need to give it to them really. But yeah, it's just like navigating through that sense. I haven't broken through yet, and it's just very frustrating. I think that's definitely a lot what you're talking
they're showing me that you need to go down to solitude. So meaning that that lone wolf, you need to pull back all your energy, because these little things that are of irritants or of wasting your time, because you're a phoenix rising here, dude. You can't be wasting your time with all these little things, because I literally see like siphoning of energy.
about. Right.
What happens when we get tired? We get irritable, we get snippy, we get, not wanting to do stuff. Our creativity lacks, all this stuff. So yeah, and they're still showing you up like this. So pretty much as soon as someone oversteps a boundary, however small it is, it needs to just be addressed. And I know you're a happy, nice
Well,
guy.
now as of late, I've been Mars and Aries addressing it like a madman, sometimes yelling at the top of my lungs, like, what you're not gonna do, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm the dude on the street talking to himself, looking crazy, not even caring I look crazy because it feels like a real energetic dispute. Or even like, so the one part of me is like, okay, I don't have to address it so fiery. And the other part of me is like, nah, screw that. I'm gonna check it every time. But it's just such a trivial back and forth. I've just been.
I think where you're directing it is not where it's coming from.
Yeah, I believe that too. I believe that
Okay.
too. Like I'm understanding it wrong. Like I'm not really because when I hear it, I don't really hear it. Like I kind of feel it. It's like you said, like I'm hearing something that can't be. It's
I
weird.
think I think you're sensing the problem, but I don't think you've like honed in on what it actually is. Like
That's it.
it,
That's it.
yeah, it could
That's
like
literally it.
literally be someone so close to you that is very endearing, matters of the heart. It could be like a little old grandma. Do you know what I mean? Where you don't even notice how that, because it's almost like a root cause of a pattern that's holding you back.
That's very true. That's very true. And
Okay.
I was even feeling like, what if this is an energy that's close to me and I don't know that I'm sounding off on it because I feel like it's something else. And I don't like to think about that because that'd be very embarrassing. But it's like what if this isn't some I don't know, it's weird. Like it's exactly what you're saying. So I mean, I know a lot of what gets it.
Test too. It's a test too. Like if you pass the test, cha-ching, 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 not money, but abundance of your gifts. Like
Right.
you level up. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think maybe the one of the patterns is I don't really like instead of letting the messages come in, I just monkey mind and think so much. But yeah, I'm gonna check those patterns for sure because I'm definitely I feel like coming into Scorpio season, I'm ready to actually release all of them and um instill new patterns. But thank you so much. Like this really helped release a lot because when I feel it's not even like a voice, by the way. I just realized it's more like a frequency, and then my mind processes it like it's a thought or a voice. But it's like I can start to feel projections that aren't me, and it's just like I'm still getting used to it. But now I know what to test, and I can even identify with taking too long to do something because I really did go on like a 2-3 year procrastination binge. And so now I'm ready to kind of like uh go full throttle and out of that. But yeah, process. Um wow, that was amazing. That was super amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow. Yeah. Well, make sure y'all hit her up. Man. I got the website, I got her YouTube channel. Please make sure y'all subscribe. Um, thank you so much again for just
Thank you.
blessing me and blessing all of us. Do you have any final words of encouragement for anyone who's walking their path?
Yeah, keep going out of your comfort zone, get comfortable with the uncomfortable, and adapt to your surroundings as much as possible. Don't try and fight it, just be like a fish and adapt in the waters of change, because where we're changing right now is not going to be where we're changing next year and the year after and the year after. We're definitely going through an array of sensory changes and not only of self, but a whole revamp of the world and the earth. And yeah, so get comfortable with the uncomfortable.
That's perfectly said. Embrace the cringe. Get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Pedro said this is out my comfort zone. That's perfect. Like get comfortable with that. That's something I've definitely been having to embrace. Like this is just the beginning and it's just forcing me to accept all my vulnerability and not be a victim with it, but to embrace it. So y'all stay blessed as always. Thank you so much. This is an amazing episode. And until next time, y'all, peace out.
Peace.
And